This stuff is from the shed up there, so it's all part of the emporium. And it's got lots of nice poo in it, and it's basically going to grow my tomatoes. Hello friends, welcome to Sunflower Hill. Look at this, look. Oh, my hand's going out of shot. Look at this, the tunnel of starting up new seedlings for spring. Don't mind me, I'm really tired. We did this, it's done, it's complete. And now let's go back in time, 2 weeks, rewind, and show you actually how we did it. Okay, so today's job is in here. I've spent a fair bit of time in here putting up. We've got the rooster wanting to come in and help, but he can't because I don't want him in here now. Out, go on, hold on, keep still, I'll chase him out. Come on, out you go, buddy. Chooks are very destructive when you don't want them to dig things. Go on, out you get. There he goes. Yeah. See ya. Right. Anyway, today's job is to spread out this mulch up here first. I think we might do that. No, we'll go and get the hoops first. Spread out the mulch over this area that I have sort of prepared. I might neaten this up a bit. Then there's a bag of mulch we're going to spread out, and then we're going to put the hoop tunnel here. Now I'm taking a bit of a punt because it's still very early spring, and there's a fair chance that we'll get more cold weather, frost, rain, that sort of stuff. So I'm taking a bit of a punt by putting seeds out here at this time. But what I'm going to do is put up my usual short tunnel. So in this case, because it's already, because it's still quite cold, I'm going to put plastic over them. But it's been a really warm season, so fingers crossed. I'm just hoping. So I'm going to take a bit of a punt on it, putting direct sowing some of the seeds out here for summer. But I will modify my usual little tunnel that I use to protect them. Usually I put 50% shadecloth on it. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to add, I've got a little bit of plastic left, greenhouse plastic left from other jobs that I'm going to put over the top as well. And I'm going to hope for the best, because we have had a very warm, relatively warm spring. We had 24 degrees Celsius yesterday, which is pretty warm. And we've got a 27 day coming up. But today's pretty cold again. Well, it's chilly. It's like 17. So I'm not sure how direct sowing seeds is going to go out here, but it saves me so much work and so much extra farting around that it's worth giving it a try. What I'm going to do is is for a bit of insurance, I'm just going to plant some into pots in the greenhouse, the bus greenhouse as well. But if I do it all that way, it just takes so long. It's so much extra effort and so much extra work. Whereas if I can direct sow them, even if they start a little bit slower, you're avoiding that transplant shock, and a huge amount of work transplanting them and looking after them in pots is a lot more work anyway in the first place. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get this mulch spread first, and then let's get this tunnel moved, and hopefully we'll get some seeds in. That might be tomorrow after all the dramas with the geese this morning. It's taken a lot of time. All right, let's get into it and make a start. Would have been smart to bring up a knife, but anyway, no biggie. Right, now kids, can you guys help me spread out this mulch, please? So this is sugarcane mulch. I normally, I always buy mulch. Look, the slug right on the mulch. Here, chooks. There you go. They'll eat it. I used to buy bales, and I still much prefer to do that. But it's a matter of what I can get when, and this is handy. Okay, girls, do you want to come in? It ate the slug? Good. Just slurped it up like this. Oh, yuck. Excellent. All right, do you want to come and grab this? Just grab pieces and just spread it, okay? With mulch, you really want to do it as deeply as you can. I'm not doing it as deeply as I would like to, and this isn't prepared as well as I'd like, It's just, there's just been a lot going on, and a lot of work, and I've only just got to this, so I would like to do this much more thickly, but I'm doing what I can with what I've got, basically. You do that again. Okay, so we've got that done now. The reason for mulch, and this is not deep enough, I will grab another bag and do this, mulch this more deeply. But mulch is so important. It keeps in water, it suppresses weeds, it keeps the temperature a lot more even. It's just really important, really, really important. So I will grab another bag because that wasn't enough to do all of this. But thanks, kids. Job well done. Okay, so the next bit is to pull out these. You probably can't see much of it. I'll turn the camera around in a tick. But the next thing is to pull out these hoops. Unfortunately, I didn't get round to that as well. There's a lot of things I didn't get round to, aren't there? So I will just show you what I do here. This is a system of hoops, of just polypipe hoops connected by string, and they make up a small short tunnel that protects the seedlings and seeds really well while they're emerging and while they're getting started and established. It's a really effective system, but if you don't pull it out when the plants are small, then you get this. Then you get this. And these are the hoops we want when I need to pull them out. And you can see they just make up a system of hoops that holds up a wee tunnel, but you can also see that I should have pulled them out ages ago and they're now in the middle of all that foliage. So this is my winter crops, which are looking great, but they've kind of taken over this. So the kids are going to help me pull these out now. Let's get to it. Okay, so these pegs are in the ground and these just fit over the top of them like that. So you put that in the ground and slide that over the top. And that's the peg there. Okay, now obviously to get into this, I'm going to have to pull out all, not this, because this is the turnip seed heads. I want to get turnip seeds, so but I'm going to have to pull out all of these. Oh God! All of these seeding radishes here. What I'm going to do is chop these up and use these for compost, because I did give the chickens a heap of radish yesterday and they love it. But I need not compost, mulch. Can you get in there and film how big that is?
Right in there, is that? There it is.
See how big it is?
Look at that.
It's enormous, isn't it? That is one big radish. All right. Okay, I'm using all of these giant radishes that I pulled out of the other run. That's a very small one. This is a small one. To use as mulch in this run, which is what we're working on today, this run here. And the tunnel's not going to get this far today. So there's lots of snails here for the chooks. I'll give those to the chooks. And this should just sit here and turn into mulch, hopefully. Nice and thick. I might come and chop it up a bit later, but that'll be really good mulch. These gigantic daikon radishes are excellent for mulch, so may as well use them. And they're self-seeded, so they didn't cost me anything. Okay. Don't need this many radishes, that's for sure. And I've left the radishes in the soil there, so they'll just break down and decompose and enrich that soil. And I'm going to put the chooks through here before I put any more crops in anyway. Now, okay, here's another lot.
I like the size of you.
Big radishes. Awesome. So, daikon radish mulch. Let's see how that goes. Should go pretty well, I would think. No reason not these out. And this is the tent pegs that I use for the ends, to peg the ends. Very simple, just hoops of polypipe. All right, so I'm just going to collect these up carefully so I don't tangle the string Let's go, guys. Thank you. Thanks, doll. Thanks, matey. Thanks, doll. Must have done this because I lost the tent pegs. You do lose things over time. It's just inevitable. Okay, let's go. Okay, so now we're going to put all of these in and we're going to put the hoops up. I'll show you what I mean by this. Really simple. So I just put the hoop, oh my goodness. I just put the hoop where I want it. And then, oh, there's a brick there. Very good. Right, bit of wood. Okay, and then I push this into the ground like that. I've chosen a way too long one. Push this in. I'll grab a brick and bash that one in because the ground's a bit hard there. Maybe you might want to bring a hammer. There's a thought. This section here, the wire is leaning in because the post is actually broken. So that's a problem I have to get onto to replace the post. And then you just slide that over there like that. So then again, put this in where you want the end to be. Very simple. Probably don't even need me to show you, but there, and then you just slide this over. And it just makes my hoops are a tiny bit short. I probably should have cut them a little bit longer, but it gives it stability and a little bit extra length. All right, let's move to the next one. Fortunately, that didn't go through my hand, as I was thinking it could have. It's not the best way of doing it. It's because this ground up here is a bit fresh. It hasn't been used that much. I actually used this for veg the first time last year. So the soil is still not as loose and friable now. Okay, so this is the last one. It's actually quite a lot of work, all of this, so we're gonna finish setting up this little tunnel today, and then the kids and I are going to go and have a bit of an afternoon off because I've had a mild bit of a cold and it's the school holidays, so we're not doing our homeschooling stuff. So we're going to set up this tunnel and then go and sit down for a bit. There. Right. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So we've got the guide rope attached down there and all of the hoops. It's a very simple system, but you'll see in a minute how effective it is. It's quite long, and of course it's, oh, chickens, oh my goodness. Of course it's very easy to add to it. You just have to put in more hoops, and I might even do that, but my piece of cloth, shadecloth, isn't long enough. But that's what the skeleton of it looks like, and now we'll put the covers on. Okay, so this is where I store the stuff, just in this crappy old shed. There's not much of this plastic. Darling, can you carry that for me, please?
Me? Okay.
But this is where I store the covers. This is where I store the covers for that tunnel. So I'm just going to grab this and throw it over the tunnel, and then we'll be done for the day. All right, so I keep my seeds in here, in the greenhouse bus. So that's our next thing. I'm going to hedge my beets. I will plant some in here in the greenhouse there, keep them warm and with lights on. But let's give this a crack. I think this is this year's lot. Yes, it is. Hasn't even been opened. All right, let's take these up. Things like tomatoes, capsicums, eggplants, things that need warmth and a longer season, I'm going to plant in here in the greenhouse.
Okay.
In the greenhouse. And other things, I'm going to try beans, just direct sowing, because they're pretty hardy. They're really big seeds, so they've got a lot of energy. I reckon they should be all right with the protection I'm planning for them. I'm certainly going to plant, oh yeah, these guys. What's this? Beetroot. I'll definitely plant beetroot out there, because you can plant them out there any year and any time of year. And I'm going to plant zucchinis, because I really want zucchinis really soon. Pumpkins and things, I'm going to wait. Kohlrabi. These are really quite out of season, but I've read that you can grow them in summer. They might do better. They haven't done very well for me in the right season. But things like tomatoes, chilies, these sorts of things, they're going to go in the bus. But let's just head out there and sow what we can, and I'll show you how I cover that hoop, the little hoop thing. Let's go. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've made up this mix. It's literally just used pots. I reuse all of my soil, but I've added a heap of wetted coconut coconut peat to it, coconut husk peat. So that should keep the moisture in really well while the seeds get going. I always like to start them in something really nice, something really seed friendly, so they can get a really good start, because seasonal veg, they've only got one season to grow. They haven't got the time to spend getting established and, you know, getting good root system, and then maybe next year they'll put on more growth and blah blah blah. They need to get in there, crack on and get going now. So that's why we give them a really nice nitrogen rich soil as much as we can. It's why we put in lots of compost, why every year we put in amendments like manures and broken down compost and things like that. It's why we mulch, because they need to get off and running. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm giving the seeds as good a start as I possibly can. Now the spots where the seeds are the only parts where I don't have compost, so the mulch rather. So the mulch, job of the mulch is to basically keep on top of the weeds in between the plants. Now once these seeds have got going and have got a decent root system in that nice little bit that they've got to start with there, they should be able to get right into the soil and take right off. And the reason I'm planting zucchinis here is because there's a lot of space up here, and zucchinis are rambly. They're in the same family as pumpkins and they need a lot of space. Not as much space as pumpkins. Zucchinis tend to be more compact of a plant. They can climb, you can get them to climb, you can get them to do all sorts of things, but they're still in the cucurbit family and they do take up a fair bit of space. So these are just your classic Black Beauty zucchinis, and when you plant seeds, the rough rule of thumb, apart from spacing them a distance apart that will be appropriate for the plant to have room to grow, a rule of thumb is to plant them at twice the depth of the size of the seed. I just dropped the seed, oops. This is not much good anyway, so I'm just going to pop that straight in. Who knows, it might do something, it might not, but I'm not going to waste my nice seed sowing substrate on it. So seed about like that. I don't stand on ceremony too much. I just try and give them the best start I can. And these plants should have enough space up here. They've got plenty of space to run, which they will do. They will run. As I say, not as much as pumpkins, but they definitely will run. All right, so that's that first packet of zucchini seeds. Now I think I'm going to ask my son to help with planting instead of filming, and we'll get back to you when we're ready to put the cover on. See you soon. All right, final part of the process. The kids and I have put in a heap of seeds, so we're now going to cover it, and it's just this shade cloth. I bought this from a horticultural supplier. It's 50% white shade cloth. That's all. Just decent quality so it lasts. That's all. The rooster keeps interrupting me. Now I'm going to get one of my kids to hold one end and I'm going to hold the other end. It's a really simple process, and maybe would you mind going down there to film the whole lot, please? Thanks, Stel.
Okay, the gimbal died, but you know, we'll continue on. We'll continue on doing
stuff. We're just stretching it out the length of the hoops here. A little glass tray that will be good for the goslings. Give them food or watering. Oh, no, wait. Keep going, sweetheart. Right to the end. Alright, so we're just going to walk along, and all we're going to do is literally drape it over these hoops. And all I do is pin it at the back with bricks and at the front with bricks. And I'm going to add an extra layer this time of this greenhouse plastic because it's still cold. We're still getting cold weather, but we're getting a lot of warm in amongst it, so a bit of an experiment this year. Now I'll just show you what I do at the back. So easy. One brick. So I make sure first of all that I fold this end here like this. You can see where it's pegged in there. You can see it's pegged in the ground there, and I just fold it like you would wrapping up a parcel and put a nice heavy brick on it. And then I'll go along and put bricks along the back and bricks along the front. I'm sure there's lots of other ways you can do this, but the bricks work really well, and they're simple and cheap. I already had some bricks, so it's a win. And this back will stay pinned down. The back part will stay pinned down until I'm ready to take this off. And then I just pin the front like this. Just make sure you've got some out the bottom. And that's it. That's literally it. We've got Minky helping.
Minky! Hello, Minky. Oh, look, he's helping. He's gonna go and grab a brick. Look, he's being a brick. Big cat.
Thanks, kids. See ya. Okay, so that's what we've ended up with, this hoop tunnel here. And if we keep getting these relatively warm days, I think that should work pretty well. I did not have anywhere near enough greenhouse plastic, so this end has got a bit here, but I guess that's an interesting experiment. See if it goes better. That's the zucchinis. I really want to get them going, so quite handy to have at least some. I might see if I can get some more in when I go into town later this week. It's my fortnightly shopping. Anyway, that's what it looks like. That's what all the work was for, and that's how I start my spring seeds. It's how I start my autumn seeds. Autumn is much easier because, of course, it's warm. I start them in February, March when it's still hot, which is late summer. And so there's no need for protection for warmth. But this tunnel I actually started using because it keeps the white cabbage moths out, and they just destroy most of the things we grow in winter are brassicas, and the white cabbage moths just destroy them before they even get going. So that's what this originally was used for. I didn't invent this. I can't take credit for that. A friend showed it to me, and I've kind of adapted it a little bit and used it ever since. It's a really fantastic tool to protect your seeds. So it's great at this time of year because it gives them a bit of warmth. It's surprising how it creates a little microclimate in there. It's retains the moisture a lot more than you'd think, because I guess it stops the wind and it keeps it warmer than you'd think. It traps the warmth in there. You wouldn't think so, 50% shade cloth, but it does. It really does an amazing job. Okay, I'm pretty knackered now, so I'm going to leave it there, and we're going to, I'll get this video out and probably one about the geese, and then we'll get back to the indoor growing. I know I've kind of left that hanging, but I wanted to do this to show everybody how I do this, starting my spring crops, what I use, because it's actually absolutely revolutionized, and my autumn crops. It's how I start all my seeds. Autumn stuff, I should say, I direct sow everything because it's warm. Spring, I usually set this up. I'll direct sow a few things, but I usually start things in the greenhouse in the bus. It's just because the bus was needed work on it this year, and I really didn't have that space. So anyway, let's see how it goes. So it's a tiny bit on the late side, but I reckon we'll be fine. Keep an eye on the channel because I will be showing how this lot grows and all the highlights and lowlights over the season as we grow our summer crops. All right, friends, it's time to finish up. Thank you so much for joining us on this little the roosters, on this little adventure, another little adventure, and I hope you learned something useful. I certainly, when I learned about this tunnel method of starting veggies, it was absolutely revolutionary. I'm very grateful to the person who showed me the basic thing, and I've adapted it for myself. So I really hope it's of use to people. I'll do updates as the season goes on how my veggies are going. There's a couple of teeny tiny little veggies starting up there. It has turned cold. It was really warm when we did this, and I thought, yeah, whack them outside. But it has turned cold again since then, like really properly winter cold. So I don't know how that'll go, but I have started seeds in the bus because never trust nature. Basically, I love nature again, but yeah, hardcore. So I do have seedlings in the bus, but yeah, there's a couple of little tiny weeny little zucchini seedlings that have come up under the tunnel, sort of way up the back there already, which is great because I really like zucchinis. All right. Thank you so much for joining us again. If you could like this video, have a look at some of the other ones. Right at the end, there'll be some links to some of my other videos. There's lots of different things going on, and there'll be lots more coming along soon too. Plants, animals, buses, you name it. All right. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd just absolutely be so grateful if you don't mind subscribing. So thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon. Hooroo! It's hooroo from me, and it's hooroo from Jude.